Welcome back, watch fans. Today we're going to be looking at a piece that is definitely deserving its own place in time. This watch is something that you cannot find everywhere, and in fact, it is not available anymore. We have a lot of collectors who do like to wait, and I don't mean to tell your business, but they do like to wait until a piece has gone so far out of production that the market itself keeps it a little bit lower so that then they have the opportunity to actually buy everything. And when they buy everything, I mean everything that's going to maintain its value or really increase in value. So it's kind of like real estate, but on your wrist. And the easiest company to do that with is definitely going to be Patek or Patek Philippe. This is going to be one of those watches that you should have had an eye out for when it was released. But if you have not yet added it to your collection, you want to do it now. We're actually looking at the 175th edition or 175th year anniversary. And this piece is something that is definitely phenomenal. Yes, we have the 5975R, and the watch itself is more than amazing. I actually love a lot of the different features that are put on there because the features all align based off of who this brand has become. Well, remember, in 1839, yes, you did have a brand that was actually created by two different gentlemen, and that's the two names that you have. However, the company that was most famous for their dials, and in the 1930s would actually take over, would be the Stern family. The Stern family actually creates the dials, and they would do a fantastic job at it. Well, on this 5975, they really showed who they are as a dial maker because the watch itself and the complication actually makes it where it only needs a single complication if you think of it the right way. However, the dial is giving you multiple all in one, and that's why this one is actually called that. So this is the multi. I absolutely love the way that this was done because you have a telemeter that's on there. You're still going to have your tachymeter or tachometer that's actually on there as well, and you're going to have a pulsator that's on there. So those three are giving you three different things that are really unique, but still are going to be things that you can use, especially if, let's say, you're in the military or you're in the medical field, or you're just someone who loves to watch racing and you want to have that chance to time something. That's what this does. And they did it in such a fantastic way. So let's start off just talking about the movement itself. The movement itself on this one actually is going to give us a flyback chronograph. That is huge because that means when I start my chronograph by pushing the top button, of course I can always stop it by pushing the top button as well, and then resetting it by pushing the bottom button. Well, if I'm trying to time something with accurate speed and I really don't have time for it to go back and reset it myself, this one, when I start at the top, I can actually just do the flyback feature and push the bottom, and it will reset itself quickly back to zero. That's huge when you're using this as an actual tool. Remember, the watches are made to be tools, not just telling time. And that's one of the things that it does. But your watch is actually going to tell you time. It's going to be a compass. And then for this, with this multi-dial, it's giving you so many other features. So the first one, because a lot of people say, hey, Ro, you just told me a lot of different names and threw things out there that it does, but I have no idea what that represents. Well, we want to break it down for you here at SwissWatchExpo. It actually gives you a few different features that you may not use on your daily. However, it's really cool to know that you have. And for the history of watchmaking and the fact that most watchmakers made pieces for the military or for military purposes, this is one of those pieces that you can find fun. First, we'll talk about the telemeter. Well, that particular feature itself is actually made so that you can measure the distance when firing a shell or sound underwater, subsound. So when we were, let's say, shooting or firing an actual missile, we have that underwater, we would start it from when we could actually see the shell, right? And then we would measure it until it actually hits impact on that point. And that would tell us how many kilometers the impact was away. So now we know how far that sub is away from us. So if we're firing, we do get a good sense of distance. And that actually is really helpful because we now know how quickly we need to do things, how far that sub may be away from us, or whatever it is that you're choosing to measure at that time. Then when we move on to the tachometer, that's going to give us high speeds, so in 1,000 units. So let's say that we were actually racing, we're actually in the car, we're watching the car from either outside, however we choose to do it, but we want to know for our particular car how fast it is going maybe we have a light wager on it. Maybe there's a bet that's been placed and we just want to be able to be more accurate or feel more a part of the race itself. I would actually do the same thing. I'm going to push the actual top button. When it starts, I'm going to let it run until the actual until that line is actually crossed. I'll push it again. It's going to tell me how many kilometers that car is actually going. So I can actually measure and say, hey, the car is going at 200 kilometers or 300 kilometers based on what the speed is that it's actually doing. That's really fun, and that's something that a lot of people actually do still use. The other thing that it does and gives you something different on this dial is you actually have the pulse where you can actually measure that. So how you do that is you would count how many times while holding someone's pulse or checking for their pulse itself, how many times we're looking for 15. And how many times that happens in a second is what we're going to be measuring. That's actually going to give us our rate. So what we would do is the same thing. We're going to push that top button, and then we'll count those 15 out, stop it, and it's telling us exactly how things are going. That is absolutely huge, especially when you talk about a brand that is not only known for how accurate the timing is, but giving you fun features that you cannot find in every watch. So to give that in an 18 karat rose gold, where you have such fine definitions, you even have the actual anniversary dates that are written on the back. So you'll have that 1839 to 2014. I absolutely love the way that they actually did the clasping itself. So I don't have to worry about if the watch were to unlatch on me, there's no reason for that watch to fall off and hit the floor without me knowing and having an opportunity to catch it. So that's a safety, but it also acts as a bracelet as well. That's something that is really fun to know. But one of the other fun features is not only do I have it on the buckle itself, I'm getting that actual engraving as well on the case back. So when we're looking at the case back as well, we have that engraving. Such details. Now, it does mean on this particular piece that we can't see the movement. However, you can do like a 5980. That's going to show you the same movement. Yes, this does have a vertical clutch, which actually makes it where you don't have to worry about when you start your chronograph it slipping or breaking by teeth and then having to have it serviced. That's about $1,000 or so. If you have a watch that does not have that and it is done wrong, we don't have to worry about with this timepiece. Everything in this piece has been carefully preserved, and this piece looks absolutely phenomenal. When we talk about the fact that it's been released more than 10 years ago for us as well, I mean, to find a piece that looks like this and be such a collectible is extremely hard. However, that is what we specialize in. That is what we do here at Swiss Watch Expo. Giving you the best of the best for value is what we are known for, and we will continue to do. We want to know what your opinion of this particular watch is, so tell us in the comments below here at Swiss Watch Expo.